Our show is brought to you by Barreto Home Solutions, Bayou Audio and Video, Hot Works on the North Shore, JFK Martial Arts in Mandeville and Covington, Black Hawk Hauling, Lil Dizzy's Cafe, Wags Food and Culture, Moe's Pizza, The Green Law Firm, Personal Injury Attorney, Drums Earwear.
Welcome to Bayou AV Security. My name is Rusty Mathern, proud owner and operator. We specialize in providing top-notch audio solutions, advanced security cameras, reliable internet services, and stunning permanent holiday lighting. At Bayou AV Security, we are your one-stop shop for all your needs, whether it's enhancing your home entertainment system, securing your property, ensuring a seamless internet connection, or illuminating your outdoor spaces. We've got you covered. We are locally owned and conveniently located on the West Bank. As a fully licensed business, we take pride in delivering quality service you can trust. You can see our exceptional work showcased in the parade of homes. Experience the Bayou difference firsthand. Bayou AV Security, where technology meets reliability. Call us today to experience the Bayou difference.
Hands up, hands up, hands up. If you winning and you don't give a fuck about a hater, tell them move, 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 move. Cause I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. 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 Hands up, hands up. If you winning and you don't give a fuck about a hater, tell them move, 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 move. Cause I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Hash It Out Show. I'm your host, JB, the sports guy. We got a good show for y'all. Gonna talk a little sports for a little bit, but at 8:15, we have the one, the only, Mr. G-Sportz joining us. We'll talk a lot of sports from high school to NBA to college, all that good stuff. We're gonna chop it up with Mr. G-Sportz. Before we get started, I gotta introduce my two co-hosts you can find on CrescentCitySports.com. We got the one and only VK Jones. What's going on, VK?
What's going on, people? Okay, share, subscribe to the Hash It Out Show. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And log on and look at all our content on the hashitoutshow.com. And this is officially the dead of sports because tonight we have one of the weakest the weakest NBA draft probably ever in the history of sports. And I'm wondering what is the who has the baddest time right now? Is it the NBA? Or is the continent of Canada? Because Canada hasn't had an NHL Stanley Cup winner in 30 years now, and
31.
31 years now, and
Mhm.
the official aficionado of Canada had his burial last week. So things are not looking good in that north of the continent. I do want to go to Toronto though, but out there in Canada, it's sucking right now.
And as we get away from VK Jones with this Canada talk, craziness, we're gonna go to the disappearing act man from last night, the one, the only George Peppers. What's up, George Peppers? How you doing, man?
I'm all right.
I gotta learn those magic tricks you got, bro.
I don't know. The disappearing act, I feel like the Dallas Cowboys. They disappear every year in the playoffs, don't they?
Yeah, they sure do.
I mean, I haven't won it since '95. Yeah, Cowboy fans will be out there, and I got I got to give a little call out. A couple of weeks ago, we had G-Sportz on, and we topped it up, and it was like outstanding banter back and forth. But there was a couple of things said that night. Coach Hen, the Knicks be nicking, right? Was what he said, right?
Knicks
Look what they've done in the last 24 hours. They traded for Mikal Bridges, who's a 3-and-D defender who could score, who hasn't missed a game since he's gotten to the NBA. Has not.
Yes, not.
Then the word's out that OG Anunoby, the Knicks high target, 212, 5 years, rumored to be signed. It hasn't been, obviously, nothing can be consummated till July, but that's and they got 2 first-round picks tonight. Which, look, like VK said, it is a bad draft. There's a couple of guys I think about. I don't think their impact. And I know we'll talk with G-Sportz about the draft, the weakness of it. But I want to know whose idea was it to make this draft 2 nights, 1 round tonight, 1 round tomorrow. Who's the knucklehead that did that?
Well, I'm gonna say this. GP. I'd like to know who that was also, because you don't have any stars. So why are
Nope.
you making this a 2-night draft? It's horrible.
I
Horrible.
know.
If you think Bronny James getting drafted tonight?
No, at
No.
all.
So if you don't get drafted tonight, you think people gonna tune in tomorrow? Still,
We might.
I,
We will.
I'm not.
I know who it is.
Come on, Mister
I could,
saying Canada's a continent. Come on, bro. Come on.
I could tell you who it is. I could tell you who it
It's
is.
nobody
But
from Canada, VK.
oh no,
He
it's not
said
nobody. Okay, we know.
he said Canada's a continent. He said that.
I
Well,
know.
the country.
It's a country.
No. You
St. Aug,
you
St.
said a
Aug
continent of
failing
Canada.
world geography. Purple Knights don't teach world geography, JB,
Yeah, they don't teach them geography. Don't teach them.
at all.
Yeah,
But
no,
no, who is? I
Whatever.
want to hear this though.
No one Drake fan.
Who is it, VK?
Well,
Who do you think is the genius?
I think it's Disney and ESPN's idea. They wanted to be like the NFL draft. Let's make it a 2-night thing instead of a 1-night thing, huh? The networks. It's always the networks. Always
Nobody
making
watching
these
this crap.
Huh?
Nobody watching this crap.
That's what I'm saying. That's
Ain't
the
no
network.
stars.
That's
Watching
what I'm
this.
saying.
Well,
It's the network's decision. They always, I'm telling you, they go by risk and reward every freaking time. They take a lot of risk, like you said, and sometimes it might be successful, sometimes it's not. This year is not the year to do a 2-night draft. Now,
it's
next
silly.
draft is much better. Okay, you could do the 2 nights. This year, and I think somebody behind the general manager and all of that, and I hope it might have been a couple of people in the panel in the meetings that said, no, don't do 2 nights. Not a good idea. I think this is not the draft to do this. This is not the draft. Let's wait till next year. It's a good idea, but let's try next year to do 2 nights. Not here.
2 things.
Let
2
me say this
things.
first. Let me say this
Go
first.
ahead.
I would say not even next year. I would wait until they change the rule. You change the rule to where they got to stay 2 years. Then let's talk about going to 2 nights. Because now you're going to have stars in college basketball. But when you got this one and done, ain't happening. Go ahead, George.
Just some updates. The San Antonio Spurs reportedly are trading Rob Dillingham, the rights to him, to the Minnesota Timberwolves for 2 future picks. And Zach Edey is off the board at 9 to the Memphis Grizzlies. They took him at 9. And Pelicans fans, you get to see back to the basket center who can't shoot. Go get him. Just saying. Spurs fans too, because guess what? They in the same division. I am not high on Zach Edey. I think he'll be okay. And that's your 2-time player of the year. 2. He won 2-time National Collegiate Player of the Year and got Purdue to the national championship, which Dynasty won that. Connecticut. So, but yeah, the Spurs trading Dylan. But what future picks are y'all getting? Because it doesn't say.
I don't know.
Me neither.
We'll see. We'll see. I don't know.
Mm.
Rob Dillingham, nice knowing you.
Money, David Stern, Rolling is great.
But
Well,
I mean, this is just they gotta just they just no stars. Zach Edey is probably your biggest star because he stayed what 4 years?
4 years.
Stayed
Yes,
all 4 years. So
and took Purdue
yeah,
to
it's
the
probably your
final.
biggest. Yeah, it's probably your biggest star. It's just everybody one and done. And
And there was some banter today about what the Pelicans would do, and I have said this from jump. Yes, the Pelicans need a point guard, but can you get excited about a point in this draft, or do you
no,
go for the vet? No,
no,
I'll tell you one point guard that I like that I think he's gonna be a tough as nails kind of guy is the kid from Marquette, Kolek. I like his game. He's got some hustle to his game. He's not the greatest athlete, but he will get in your grill and face you up, and he can shoot it a little bit. He
I'm
can
just
pop it a little bit. I like him.
I'm just like this, man. I got 2 point guards that I said I would go after. I would bring old Chris Paul back. I would, and
At
I would
40,
draft. Yeah, Chris Paul can facilitate the ball still. He ain't got to score when you got CJ and Zion. He ain't got to score at all.
he's
And
just
I
got
would
to
I would
facilitate.
draft I would draft a point guard because you never have Chris Paul alone. Number two, I'm going to get DeJounte Murray from Atlanta. I would get him. I'm still on the fence about trying to get Trey Young. I'm on the fence about Trey Young. I just don't know how or if that combination will work here with Trey Young, Zion, and CJ. I just
You
like
need a
DeJounte better.
here to answer your point, and VK. I don't know if you agree. Dejounte Murray is more of a defensive minded guard. I mean, he could still fill it up, but who's the better facilitator? Trey's a shooter. He is a naturalized
Trey
shooter. Trey
Trey
Young.
did
I,
average 20 and 10 though. He did average 20 and 10. That's 10
He
assists.
did
I,
He
on
I,
did.
a
I,
bad Hawks team.
I think Jelante Murray, to me, looking at the two guards, I think
Right.
Jelante
Yeah.
is a better guard, a better package guard that the
Jelante.
Pelicans need more
What's
than
his name
anything
again?
else.
What's his name again?
Dejounte.
The Jonte Murray. I thought it was
No,
Delonte Murray.
no,
No,
it's
The John
DAJONTE.
DJ. Yeah.
DeJounte Murray, I tell you, he's a better package
Devontae.
guard for the Pelicans because the fact of the matter is he can shoot the ball, pass it, and plays very, very good defense in itself. Thank you, Colubius. But yeah, so mhm. I'm getting shots tonight, man.
Yeah. Hey, you didn't see the shots you got from this morning in the text messages. I didn't tell you about that, but go ahead.
Oh, you got to tell me about that later, man. I know there was
Woo!
Wait,
something.
I don't even know about this.
Well, it was something on a point. Maybe I went a little too early about maybe top running backs in the state. And I think some people on Instagram last night kind of took offense to it. And I think now a lot more blowback has came into that subject, I believe.
I got you.
No, they text me saying how stupid he is.
Who told
how
Damn.
you?
he don't know a class. That's what they telling
Man, they going in on you,
Oh,
VK, bro.
class.
What happened?
me.
They going in on you like that?
Man, I didn't know it was that bad, man.
Me neither.
Look,
Jeez.
man, look,
I
man,
said,
look,
leave him alone, man. Leave him alone.
look. Now, I'm gonna give some clarity. Whoever texts you and whoever texts
Oh,
you and
he
who's
about he
watching the
about to
Hold,
show.
cross check
hold,
somebody.
Let
hold,
me let me let me, let me
hold,
give you let me give you clarity. Whoever
All
talked
right.
to this man about me last night. Look, I had to get clarity from Mr. Boyd a little bit, okay? We was talking about how we're comparing a class to a great season. And
Mm-hmm.
all we were saying was the fact, will this season and
I don't
looking
know
at the
where you get
class.
season from. He
No, no,
still
no, no,
says
no, no, no.
season.
Listen. Let me finish
Go
explaining
ahead.
it. Because we got on the same page finally. We did. So I'm just saying, like, when Jared explained to me and I got what he was coming from with that. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? The reason why I was talking about that particular season, because the fact of the matter is there were so many running backs that year will contribute so much. But at the same time, when not seeing what he was talking about overall as a senior class, I'm like, okay, I see what you're talking about. But the bottom line is 2023 season opened the door for what's going on in 2025. So
Mhm.
let's get that straight. So plain and
George,
simple, I'm not as stupid as you think. Thank you very much.
Nobody said that. I didn't say
No,
that.
no, no, not you. I'm talking about
George,
who he was
George.
talking with.
I put out graphic promos about is the 2025 class the greatest class
I've
ever
seen
to
them.
this date. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. So the question was to VK, do you think that this 2025 class is the greatest class ever? He said no, and he went on to say he thinks 2023. So he was on the same page.
Okay.
So then when I asked him about a couple of the running backs in the 2023 class, he said Fred Robinson. I said, well, Fred Robinson is 2024.
Mhm.
That's what started everything. Because then he was like, well, you got to count the season he had in 2023. No, he's not part of that class. No, you don't count that. We are comparing the class of the year you graduated in. That's what it was, George. And
I'll
then,
say.
boy,
Mhm.
I wake up, I got about good 6 text messages from 6 different people saying, what the hell is wrong with me?
Keep it clean, sir.
I did.
Okay.
Everything.
Well, let me interject
And,
one
and,
thing.
and I appreciate you, Jared. Before you go ahead, George. Jared, I appreciate you standing up for me on that one.
I'm gonna
And
stand
that
up for you,
and
bro.
and and,
When
and,
you're
and,
wrong or right, I got you, dog.
and
Trust me.
that's how much of a good relationship we all have.
We do.
We'll check each other if we're wrong on things, but
Do we?
at the end of the
Mhm.
day, we'll still have each other's back, regardless of.
Austin Tyler. Look at Austin Tyler in the comments, y'all. VK's rants with tear and hysteria emojis. All right. I
Oh,
got my first football magazine, Lindy's, who does a pretty good job with their previews. And it looks like they really put a little more effort.
somebody said if George didn't disappear, he would have saw all this last.
Wait, whoa, what?
Somebody
If
said
I disappeared, what?
if
Oh
you
my
didn't
god!
disappear last night, you would have saw all of this last night.
I know. Um. Anyway, Lindy's has they got Athlon, Lindy's, and other entities. I used to love Sporting News. For the record, Sporting News was my go-to for college football previews because they had everything. But Lindy's, I'm starting to look at it now. They have the top 100 players of high school, and you're talking
Uh,
about running back class.
Lindy's, Lindy's that has Dandy Don that puts it
No,
together.
no, 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 no. I don't
Danny
think that's
Don,
him.
Danny Don don't know what the hell he be talking about. But go ahead.
No, no, no. His name. I didn't see his name mentioned in any of that stuff.
All
I
right,
don't
so
think I've
Lindy,
seen him.
I know Lindy's magazine. I know. All right, go ahead. I got
Yeah,
you.
the magazine itself. I don't know about Dandy Don. Dandy Don's a well. I'm gonna keep it clean too. And Moron, moron. But that's another story.
Beyond.
Um, Beyond.
Yeah.
But Harlan Berry is the only running back at Louisiana listed in the top 100 recruits. And I'm like, is he the best running back in the state of Louisiana? I don't think so.
Oh God, you about to see VK open that Pandora box yesterday. They about to attack his ass when he said, "Oh look, hey, I'm
Uh-oh.
sorry." I'm
George, he
sorry.
giving you
I be
no, you
cussing
good.
here.
You good, my brother. You just warning George. George, Jared's giving you the warning, bro. Because I'm telling you, shots gonna fire. It's on you, my brother. Because the
I'm
shots
good.
gonna fire.
Hey, bro.
Yeah, George
Y'all
said,
know what? Hey, y'all know
"Oh
where I
Lord,
work. I've taken way worse than that from way
oh
tougher.
God."
Oh,
Uh-oh.
I've taken way worse from way tougher. I'm good. It'll be all right.
Go
But
ahead.
no, I was gonna say, do you guys, if you had to put a singular running back, if you had to take one back out of, and look, there's a lot of backs out of this class coming up. Who is it? Who do you take? Do you take the Cavalry kid? Do you take Jasper Parker? Do you take Harlan Berry? Who y'all got?
Yes, Colubius. Hey, Colubius, don't tell nobody else. Don't tell nobody.
Oh, we are. Oh, don't worry, we are. But anyway, the
Colubius, you
question's
know.
out.
Colubius, don't tell nobody in those white uniforms. Taekwondo uniforms, y'all.
Gee, baby.
I'm not opening. I'm not opening Pandora's box. I'm not saying who's the best or nothing. Boy, because Instagram side, Well, they started coming at VK when he said James Simon's the best running back in the state. I'm not opening that box. Nope. Nope.
Mm-hmm.
Nope. 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 Go ahead, VK. You already said it
Yes,
yesterday.
indeed.
No, no, that's George. George said what he thought. So what do you think, George? I'm shoot. What you think, George? Right now.
I don't know, bro. I feel like I'm gonna be a target if I fire off of who I think it's gonna be. I don't know if I can pick one. I do love Simon though from Calvary. I mean, that dude he's got special written on him, you know. But is he the product of a great prolific offense, or is he that talented? Tell you what,
He's
I go
talented.
with the latter because Texas and Sarkisian is one of the best recruiters of all college football. You can say what you want about him as a head coach, but as a recruiter, you can't say nothing bad about that guy. That dude knows how to bring people in, and he sees what we see. We saw it up close and personal. If Dedrick Lasty was 5'9" and 190, he's easily number one. Easily. But he's 5'4", 140 or 150, whatever he is. If Dedrick Lasty was the prototypical back size, right? If he was that dude at 5'9", what, 180, 190, and runs a 4.44 and 340, ain't nobody close. But your guy, Jared, Jasper Parker. And look, I can be the pro Michigan guy, and I love my Wolverines, and I'm glad that they're going to sign him. But Jasper Parker on the field, that dude is a difference maker. All he needs is Mason to stay healthy and the O line to be a little more consistent this year. And Jasper's going to do some work. But I don't know if I can pick one. If I had to pick one, Jesus Christ, I want to pick Lassie, but I can't. And Harlan Barry, we saw him play. Me and you, VK, we saw him in the
I saw him play
quarterfinal
too.
game.
I saw him play too.
In the quarterfinals?
No, I saw him play in the scrimmage against Bonneville. So I
Oh,
did see him play.
We saw him in the quarters against Riverside
Oh, I know.
at at uh at at St. Martin's. And what we saw that night was two special players.
Yeah.
I wish Lasty was bigger than what he was, but man, he still put a hurting on. God dog, who did Riverside lose to?
Riverside. Well,
Once I got to the dome, they
they
lost to
got to the dome, Southern
Southern
Lab.
Lab.
Yeah, Southern Lab. It
Yeah.
was like that dude put him on his back and said, "All right, bro, here we go." And he is that difference maker. I see, but I wish, like I said, he was taller. He's not. Simon, I get it. I get it. The love for James Simon is legit. I get that. But I'm not gonna say. I mean, I wouldn't go wrong with any of these backs in this class. You're getting a different special player, different type of player in each back. They each can do a lot of different things. I just think as a whole, this class, upcoming, forthcoming, is going to be one we're going to remember for a long time. And as media members that have the accessibility to watch this and really be objective about it, we're spoiled this year, guys. We are going to be so spoiled this year to be able to watch a lot of this, and just
Do you think it's the deepest class ever, the greatest
in
running
depth.
back class ever?
Uh, I mean, you got to see how it plays out, right? But based on naturalized talent and ability,
You saw a lot of it last year, though. You saw a lot
we
of it
did.
last year.
So to answer it and piggybacking off of that, I would say, and I won't say emphatically yes, I'd say yes, but I wouldn't be like, oh my God, this is the greatest class in the history. Ain't nothing close. It's not that different. But the depth of this class is what really is going to tell this year. The depth is going to tell you, backs that are ranked seventh, eighth, ninth. If they're rolling big numbers this year, then yeah, this class is absolutely the greatest class.
So George
Wait,
put
over under 100 yards rushing.
this is Jasper
Oh,
Parker
Jasper,
against Claude
300.
Eli. 300. Whoa.
I'm
Ooh,
kidding.
I'm about to say.
I'm kidding. No, because he's a Michigan. Hey, look, Jasper Parker, you're my dog, man, because you're going to Michigan. I'm not tripping. Anything you do, bro, I'm good with you. I'm
that
way
that
good.
that Shaw offense is going to be critically tested for those 2 weeks, Jamboree week and then week one.
Who they
It's
got
going
in
to
the
be
Jamboree?
St. Aug for the
His
second year in a
school.
row.
His school. Yeah.
So
They
what?
might hang 40 on y'all.
There you go. I'm
Jasper,
not talking to you.
Jasper
You
getting
the
100
smack
yards in
talker,
that jamboree for sure.
huh?
He get 100 yards in that jamboree for sure.
If he plays the whole
Well,
jamboree.
well, if he play, that's what I'm saying. They ain't gonna play
Oh,
him like
they
as
all
much.
they all played last year the whole
Of
game.
course,
It was a close game. That's why.
it's gonna be
But
it's gonna be close again, and we'll see what happens. You know what I'm saying?
Shaw beat
Like
St.
I
Aug.
said, it's
Hey,
gonna be
congratulations on your St. Aug 7-on-17s winning all these 7-on-7s. Congratulations. That's great.
Holy smoke.
Shout out to St. Aug.
But then
Now
on
on that
top of
football
that,
field, Shaw's gonna be in the next jamboree for sure.
and then on top of that, your basketball team got whooped up in about 20 something points in the summer league.
Yeah, I
How
know
you
that
like
too.
that?
I know that too.
How you like
Who
that?
beat him?
St. Aug.
Purple Knights.
Oh,
Mhm.
wow.
Purple Knights. I
50,
think they only
50 to
lost maybe
31.
one game in the summer so far.
That's nice. It's great.
They have been kicking butt and taking
We
names. I
talking
think
summer
Wade
league.
Mason
This is summer
has
league.
done a good job early so far.
Summer league. We're
Well, it's
talking
summer
about.
league, but I'm just saying, you know,
Like Coach Erica said, you know, they they threw stones at her when she lost 80-13 in a summer league game. But guess what she did? Got her team to the playoffs.
you
Summer
sure
league.
did.
Yep.
I ain't
You
worried about
sure
no
did.
summer league, man.
Summer league don't
Did they
mean
win 20 plus games too? Conville.
She won 19 or 20. She was right there.
19.
She was
19 or
right
20.
there.
I thought she got to
Right
20,
there.
but okay.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know she was right there in the neighborhood.
Worry about no summer league. But Shaw
Yeah.
needs some jump shooters. That's what they're missing. If we can't get no jump shooters, it's gonna
It'll be
be
a problem.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It
So
could be some trouble.
it's
Yeah.
gonna be, but you look at it, first 2 weeks for the Shaw offense, it's gonna be interesting in itself. You
Hey,
St.
just to
Augustine
let y'all
Jamboree.
know, I did not bring up anything about Shaw. So don't come at me. All right. Somebody said last night I showed some favoritism to Shaw. Wait a minute, wait. Jasper part of a great running back. I didn't bring nothing up on Shaw. There was a
Thank you.
question from Jordan Taylor. So don't come at me about I'm
Oh,
showing bias and favoritism. No, I ain't do it. Wait, VK, I'm sorry.
but see, no, you good. But you look at St. Aug, and especially defensively, especially Jakeem Stewart in that line, they're gonna really give Shaw a real test right there. And then the next week, Carr's defense is gonna be up next. That is gonna be interesting in itself. First couple weeks, Shaw's very experienced in itself up front, offensively as well, all the way. But they're gonna be tested severely. We'll see what happens if they can pass the test even in a loss, even if it's a close loss, and a fight is on, and knowing, okay, they're scoring a lot and everything else, it just shows, all right, Shaw is going to be not bad at all. So, you know what I'm saying? That first 2 weeks is it's going to be something for them Shaw Eagles and for Jasper Parker, and seeing what he really is working with this year. He's a really, really good back. And I'm looking forward. And it's good that Coach Hank has scheduled these games more than anything else to
Always
really
schedule tough.
test this Shaw team, to
Always schedule
test their
tough.
mettle. So I really like this.
You always get the schedule tough. Yeah, Shaw beat St. Aug in the Jamboree, and that game against Carr gonna be something else. With Richard Anderson and Corey Amos on that D line, yeah. St. Aug got Thanos, but then you got Corey Amos and Richard Anderson. Yeah, it's a different story right there, man. It's a different story.
Mm-hmm. Then you got those linebackers and
Yeah,
the
you got Arsenio
secondary,
Bowles there,
Stereo
Arsenio
Bowles.
Bowles, and Aiden Hall at safety.
And it might be the Arsenio, like going back to Arsenio Hall, the Arsenio Bowles show.
My lord,
That should
Mhm.
be fun right there. I ain't gonna lie. If anybody knows Arsenio Bowles, I got a little idea for you. You might have to give me a little 10% cut, man. I'm telling you, it's a hot little
oh,
idea
that's a
for a
small
shirt.
cut or something. There
Tell
you
you.
go.
Hey, there you go.
Not to go back, not to go back to this subject, but we've been slandering this draft. The details of the trade came out for Dillingham. This is what the Spurs are giving back. I mean, the Timberwolves are giving the Spurs. They're
What they get, man? You would freeze on it. You would freeze, George.
and no,
Whoa.
it's a 2031 unprotected and a 2030 protected first round pick for
Wait, so
Dillingham.
what are the Spurs getting?
You guys are giving Dillingham, and they're giving you two future firsts, one unprotected in 2031 and one protected in 2030. I don't know what number it has yet. I mean, it's still 5 years from now.
Can we get something closer?
Nope.
See, that's so far away. My goodness.
I think they'd have been better keeping Dillingham, though. Dillingham's a good player. But getting away from that subject because this draft is giving me nausea. It's like down in
Draft
Pepto.
horrible.
I
Somebody
mean,
draft Bronny
it
right
is
now. Let's
horrible.
draft Bronny right now so we can really have something to talk about. Just draft
Man,
Bronny James
Watch the Pelicans
right
take him.
now.
let's be honest.
What would y'all do if the Pelicans said, you know what, he don't belong in this? But remember, Emmanuel pointed this out to me earlier, and I feel like it's fair to point out. You remember Bronny? He struggled this year. He did, but y'all gotta remember
Play on
before
a
the
horrible
season,
team.
he had a heart issue. No, he had a heart issue. It's a medical thing that he had to go through. Young kid, and he had a little bit of a heart issue, and that kind of set things back a little bit. And I'm not saying Bronny's a great player. I'm not saying he's not, but let's kind of qualify things a little bit with to those of those screwballs that are sitting there. Oh, he's not his daddy. He's not his daddy. Who is?
The high school All
Who
American
is?
team because of his daddy. He
Let,
was right
let,
behind all these people,
let's
and he put
let's
him on that team. He should have been on that high school All American team.
let's cut this thing with a knife. Let's be real on this subject. Bronny James is going to the Lakers. Let's be real. Cut it with a knife. He's joining his daddy. JJ Redick's over there. Everything is set up for Bronny James to go to Lakers. Bottom
Hey,
line. We're done.
somebody draft Bronny, and
Man,
his daddy
Come
gonna
on,
follow.
David Griffin.
And his
Come
daddy
on,
gonna
David
follow.
Griffin.
no, we
Damn
don't
it. Come
want
on, David Griffin.
It's a
Right?
leverage
no,
issue.
no,
Draft
we
Bronny
don't want
right
Bronny.
now. His daddy gonna follow. He coming. His daddy coming.
That's why. Let the Pelicans draft Ronnie and go get LeBron, and that's a wrap.
Yeah, you got to trade some pieces.
You do.
A lot of pieces.
Shoot.
And congratulations to Swing Cash. I don't know if y'all heard, but she got promoted to a very high position. She is now the vice president of basketball operations. Good for her.
Big time
Congratulations.
for her.
So,
Congratulations to
mhm.
Smoke Cash and everything. And great and some interesting news in college baseball. And I know you heard about this, Jay.
I
And I
saw
know
it.
Yeah, bruh.
Texas has Jim Schlossnagle from Texas A&M. Bruh, what a bit of news from college baseball. And I'm telling you,
That sucker jumped the ship 24 hours
the-
after losing the national championship.
and I
Yep.
had a feeling this was going to happen because of the fact that Texas job was up and in anyway, and Texas it was just a dead giveaway, terrible dead giveaway. But at the same time, you just knew the loser of this national championship between Texas A&M and Tennessee was probably going to jump ship and go to Texas and kind of
No,
find
he
out with
wasn't.
Schlossnagle. And Schlossnagle actually went in on a reporter the night of that national championship when they lost it.
I left my
He
family to come to Texas A&M. I am not leaving Texas A&M. Poof, be gone. He out.
out the door. A reporter pushed him and he went off. And I think also he didn't just fact keeping up
Ronnie
his
James to the Kings. I lied.
No, I-
I lied.
well, Schlossnagle did not just leave his family. He actually him and his wife is divorced. So he has to do everything he can, even when he's at Texas A&M, to try to see his kids. So when I heard that, I was like, yeah, yeah, I had to leave my family. And I just leave. You really left your family. You divorced
like
your
it
wife.
legit.
Jesus. Woo! Bro, that's a lot going on. And you hop the ship knowing Texas A&M has the better facilities and they got money too. And
So
he
does
leaves
Texas
it.
weekend.
Hey,
Unbelievable.
So does
you
Texas.
talking
Don't fool
about better
yourself.
facilities in
But
Texas Longhorn.
Texas have
Texas is
money.
building a new $90 million baseball stadium, and they're going to have turf.
They must be starting about to build. I knew something was about to be up in Texas because I'm like Texas A&M got everything right now, but but it's been a war with Texas A&M for a
That's going
long
to go on until after all three of us are dead and gone.
exactly,
Hey,
and
After all,
at least the rivalry is back.
it
SEC.
is in the
that
SEC.
is
But
true. That is true. That's finally coming back
and they need
after
to
a
play
long,
that thing
long
on
time.
Thanksgiving weekend. They need to play that game on Thanksgiving weekend.
True.
That's the tradition.
That's true. But also, if they bringing that back, is Texas Oklahoma still gonna continue
Yes.
in
The
That's
the
Red
going to
River?
stay.
round?
The Red
Absolutely.
Rivalry is going to stay.
Thank
Absolutely. The
you,
Red River is
Lord.
always going to happen.
Yeah.
Thank you,
But
Lord. Because it's
backing up
too
to
much.
Schlossnagle for a second. Back up to Jim Schlossnagle for a second. First of all, let me correct you on one thing. Tony Vitello was not leaving Tennessee, regardless of what happened. He was not leaving Tennessee. I could tell you that 100%. Now, me and my brother Emmanuel had a very lively discussion because I was like, "Who do you have in a championship?" He goes, I wish they would both lose because he's not a fan of Vitello because Vitello off the field is not a nice guy, and Schlossnagel for that stupidness and he pulled on that reporter, where he went in on that reporter just chastising him. It's like, dude, we know you're leaving. Texas fired David Pearson. David Pearson ain't going to be unemployed long. I just think his time ran up at Texas. I think he's going to find another job somewhere.
I
All right,
think I know what the job is.
all right, guys.
It ain't Nichols. They got a
We're
coach.
gonna
I,
we're gonna take a
really?
commercial break. Hold on, guys. We're gonna take a quick commercial break. When we
Okay.
come back, we're gonna be joined with our good friend Mr. G-Sportz.
All
But
right.
did y'all know Munchie Lego is the new coach at Sophie B. Wright?
Yes.
I
No,
didn't
I
know
did
that.
not
Why
know
you ain't
that.
tell me? Why you ain't tell me?
Well. That's
Tell
my
me later.
bad.
We're going to commercial.
I'll tell you later.
Tell me later. We're going to commercial.
Head coach of the Hahnville Tigers boys basketball team, and you are watching the Hash It Out Show.
You're watching the Hash It Out Show!
Welcome back to the Hash It Out Show. Our guest, this man been doing it all. That's from covering high school sports to being on the FanView Live podcast show and also doing things with LSU. We got the one, the only Mr. G-Sportz. G-Sportz, what's going on, my man?
How you doing, man?
Doing good, my brother. Doing good. Um, VK, I'm gonna let you start this off.
Appreciate it, man. What's going on with you, Mr. G? Thank
I
you
got
so much for taking the time out, man.
no doubt,
Um,
man. Appreciate y'all for having me.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man. The one biggest thing that we do want to talk about, and we've been talking a bit, or let's go on the hoop side since you've been on that a lot lately. There's been a good bit of superstars in prep sports that has actually, especially in prep basketball, that has left their schools and leaving out of state to go to other schools, other academies to go play out there to maybe get their status up or whatever. Can you tell us what's going on in prep basketball? Why these athletes are leaving their schools, even though they're being highly recruited, that they're going out to IMG or all these other places in these other states to go play ball and try to maybe get their status up?
Relationships, bro. Relationships. A lot of these prep schools at Legacy and IMG, uh, Finley Prep, Oak Hill, you name it. These guys in these programs have relationships with some of the top D1 coaches in the country, and that's what they're selling to the parents, and that's what they're selling to the kids when they're meeting them on these shoot circuits for AAU basketball. And a lot of these parents are listening to them and kind of putting their child's future in these guys' hands. And a lot of these prep schools have track records of putting multiple kids in D1 programs. And so when you have a school, you know, I'll talk about the most recent kid that left, Dejon Leatherman from Carver. He's going to Legacy High School, Legacy Academy in Houston, right? Um, I know Devin Andrew. I don't know him personally, but I know of him, and I've interviewed him a couple of times. But I'm pretty sure that the coach at Legacy is probably saying he doesn't have the relationships I have. And I'm not saying Devin Andrew doesn't have relationships, but he was a first year head coach, so I'm pretty sure they're using that against him. And that's the kind of things that's the kind of conversations that they are having with these kids and their families to try to lure them away from some of these high schools in Louisiana. The exposure piece, the social media, building their brand, NIL, because these kids in high school can get an NIL now. So that's some of the conversations that's being had with a lot of these families and these prospects. And I think that some kids they're getting swindled though, in my opinion. And not all of them, but some of them are getting swindled because they're being promised that, hey, if you come to this prep school, I can get you here, I can get you there. Well, I think you can still get that same opportunity in Louisiana, you know. But what we got to do a better job of in Louisiana. I think we got to do a better job of just the resources and access to gyms and things of that nature and the exposure piece and building a kid's brand down here in Louisiana. I think that's going to be able to kind of manage kids leaving. I go back to when the DT, DeAndre Thomas from Ellender High School. I thought him leaving Louisiana was good for him. His situation was a little different because Hurricane Ida hit and Homer got the worst of it. And so Ellender school was trash. They didn't have no gym. They had to share a school with Terrebonne High School. His mama moved to Houston. And so him leaving Louisiana to go to Legacy High School in Houston, that made more sense, right? But some of these kids that's leaving, they're leaving because they're being promised that they're going to be able to go sign with a big D1 school. They're going to get the exposure. And sometimes it doesn't happen the way they think it's going to happen. And so that's what you've been seeing, man, in Louisiana. Anytime we get a big-time prospect, man, you best believe Ronnie Jr. senior year, they probably going to end up dipping.
Yeah, we lost 3. You just named John Leatherman. We lost Shakai Desdunes from John Curtis to a school in Florida. And Chris Senac at Newman is leaving.
Yep, Chris Burton.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh,
Chris Burton going too. Yep, he going to King Academy.
Wow.
Wow.
Yep.
Man. So
you think back when Cam Carter left. Cam Carter left and went to Oak Hill. He left East Ascension. So
yeah,
it's been Kyron Ratliff from Booker T. Like it's been happening.
And it's starting to be more and more now, more than anything else. I remember Craig Victor, who left and went to Finley Prep, which you know, I have number love for Craig Victor, but at the same time, I really thought that never made sense because he was in the top. He was top 5. He was one of the top 5 big men in the country at St. Aug. Why would you leave? Because you're already highly recruited. Somebody told me, one media member, was the competition. It don't matter. You're still being recruited by big schools. It don't make sense.
Because
they're
getting a chance to see you on a circuit.
Right. But now when you look at it, you a lot of things to change now, NIL, the resources and all that. What does the state of Louisiana need to do? Because I know there's been some lacking in summer programs, they've been lacking on certain things. What does the state of Louisiana need to do? Could be a good solution to kind of keep these athletes still here.
Man, you gotta give these coaches more access to the gym. And I'm not just talking about high school coaches. I'm talking about trainers, middle school coaches, because that's where they're gonna get better at. And that's a big part of when these kids leave. That, like, I could talk about DeAndre Thomas, who left Ellender High School. You know, he told me they was getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning, going to the gym and work out, then going to school, and it was only going to school for half a day. Then at 12:30, they're going back to the gym, they go and eat, and they're going back to the gym for a third time. You know, having that access to a gym is a big part of these kids' developmental process. And going against stiff competition around the country in high school plays a factor too. And I know that Newman went out the state and went play some teams. Madison Prep does it. I know Carver did it. That's only the ones I can think of on the top of my head. But you know, these high schools, when you get a big time recruit, you got to get out, go move out the state and go play some top tier talent around the country and let them see other stiff competition and let other people get eyes on them, because that's what a big part of this is. Chris Neck is trying to be a McDonald's All-American, and I can tell you right now that's a big part of why he's leaving. I don't think he had to leave with Randall Livingston's relationships and what he's done at Newman. I think if he'd have stayed put, he could have still became a McDonald's All-American. And you know, you think back, I talk to parents about this all the time. Think back in the past. Brandon Bass, he went to Capitol High School, McDonald's All-American. Yeah. DJ Augustine went to St. Aug. Went to Brother Martin. McDonald's All-American. Chris Duhan, Slidell High School. Like, you can do it here, but you just gotta believe in what you gotta have people in place that have the right relationships, like a Randall Livingston, right? Like a Jeff Jones. And I think you'll be just fine. But you know, I think parents are really green to this, and you know, people are just coming in and selling them a dream, and that's why they're moving around. And a lot of money is involved too. Don't get that twisted.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, just one last question. I'm gonna let Jared or George take over this question here. Um, and you're my man. We go way back, my friend, and everything else. And we know one thing for sure that Maya Moore is from the state of Georgia. You know what I'm saying? If you know what I mean, because one time you were saying, oh, talking about I think it was I don't know, it was Caitlin Clark subject or
You
something,
were
and
talking
he
about
said,
Caitlin Clark. I meant to say Elena Beard
there you go, my man, my man. 'Cause
from
I was listening,
Southwood.
I was like, wait a
Yeah,
minute. He said
yeah,
that was I kind of laughed at it because I was like, no way.
yeah. I meant to say Elena Beard.
but but you good, my friend. You good.
Yeah,
But you know, but you right now are coaching. You just you're out there. You've been coaching junior high a bit. Also now you're coaching summer leagues a bit and stuff like that. How it's been with the transition from working in media to right now coaching as well. You're working in your brand, but now you followed, trying to give back to the game and coaching.
man, it's been so gratifying, VK, bro, because getting kids to reach their full potential and being able to pour into them and become better young men, uh, you can't put a price on it. And so I've always had that itch to coach. The opportunity kind of just came. My long time defensive coordinator from high school he's the athletic director at the middle school I coach at, and he was like, "Man, I want you part of this, man. I know what you're about. I don't know if you have time to do it, with everything you have going on in the media." And we figured out a way to make it work. And man, it's been very, very gratifying. Like I say, man, it's been good to pour into them kids and see them figure it out, put them through a process. And I've been able to be around some elite programs. I've been able to be around some mediocre programs, and I've been able to be around some bad programs. And I think I've been able to take all those different experiences over the years, whether it's football or basketball, and pour it into this program and help these kids, man. And it's been cool to do, man. I got to coach my son this past year. We won a championship. We came to New Orleans and won some tournaments. And so, I don't see myself leaving coaching middle school basketball anytime soon.
Go ahead, Jared.
Yes, sir. My man G-Sportz.
What's up,
Good to
bro?
have you, my brother. Good to have you.
Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate
Yes,
you.
definitely. I want to go back to high school basketball right quick, and there's been a lot of talk about adding or not adding a shot clock in high school basketball here in the state of Louisiana. What are your thoughts about that?
It's been needed. Josh Preston is always going on a rant about adding a shot clock, and he's been making a good point about it over the last 2 to 3 years, if I'm not mistaken. It's been about that long he's been talking about it. It's just going to help these kids transition to college much better, because in high school, man, especially when you get these teams that know that they're outmatched, right? They're gonna try to slow the game down, and now you got final scores of 32-28, right? And that hurts kids when they get to college, because you have to be able to run off and get in a set and get a good shot in 30 to 35 seconds. And so it only helps kids transition to college if you put a shot clock in high school basketball. So I think it's much needed. You're gonna see kids develop faster as it's pertaining to them getting to college and understanding that I got to be able to get in the set and be precise in what I do and not over dribbling. As all those little small nuances of the game that's going to help if you bring a shot clock to high school basketball. So I think it's much needed, man. I can't wait till it happens.
Transitioning to college football now, Colin Billiard is somebody that seems to be very close with you.
Yep.
What makes, well, number one, tell us about your relationship with him. And number two, what makes him unique as an individual that we don't know about him?
Man, he just came on a fan view podcast a couple weeks ago, and he's a Native American Indian. He grew up a little different. He grew up outside, no shoes on, in the sun from 8 o'clock in the morning to 8 o'clock at night, fishing, working hard with his grandfathers. He just come from a family of hard work. You know what I mean? A lot of people in his family didn't even make it out of high school. They stopped going to school around 9th, 10th grade, and so he's been able to take that hard work and bring it to the sports world. And he was a really good basketball player. He had an offer from Nichols his ninth grade year. and he was able to take that basketball skill set and bring it to the football field. And I think it's really has really benefited him a lot. Me and him built a relationship his eighth grade year. I was actually coaching against him, and he beat us in the championship. And I had a conversation with him about, man, what you think about taking football serious? And at the time, you know how kids are, man. They had them hoop dreams.
Yeah.
And I was able to get him with Louisiana Elite on the Under Armour circuit his ninth grade year, and he went against some of the top tier talent in the country. And he was able to see real quick that you got to be a little different when you playing basketball against some of these top tier talent, and you're not gonna be one of the tallest on the court. Collins about 6'2", 6'3". He was having people guard him that was like 6'5", 6'6". And so that was a reality for him. And then he was able to start taking football much more serious around his 10th, 11th grade year. And he worked hard, man. I was able to really, really connect with him on a outside of the game of basketball and football. And I think that was something that played a big part in him working hard, being able to hold him accountable. Great kid, comes from a good family. Mom did a good job raising him by herself. And I think LSU got a good one, man. I think, after his freshman year, him, going under the wing of Kyron Lacey and seeing how he does things, I think he's going to be the next big time receiver you see at LSU when we look back 2 to 3 years from now.
Speaking of LSU football, you've been around the program a lot. Garrett Nussmeier taking over at quarterback. Kyron Lacey going to be the number one receiver.
Yep.
What are your thoughts about LSU heading into the season?
I think LSU definitely going to have an opportunity to be in that 12-team playoff. I'll be very surprised if they're not. The best offensive line in the country, led by Will Campbell and Emory Jones. I think Garrett Nussmeier, I think that he's going into his third year in his college football system. Him and Joe Sloan has a really, really good relationship. Who's the quarterback coach and the offensive coordinator. I like the running back room with Caleb Jackson and Josh Williams and Caden Durham, the true freshman coming in from Duncanville High School. Hopefully Trey Holly get back in the fold, and that'll make that running back room even better. And then you talk about the receivers, man, with Chris Hilton, Kyron Lacey, two freaks, bro. Aaron Anderson, Ethnicar product right out of New Orleans with Kyle Parker and Xavier Thomas out of John Eric. Those guys will be fighting for that slot spot. And then you talk about the tight end spot with Mason Taylor, who's been starting since a true freshman, who I think is a mismatch nightmare. With Pimpton, who's a redshirt freshman out of Texas. I think he's somebody that a lot of people are gonna get familiar with this year. And then I think they're gonna bring Tre'Davious Green along slowly, and you're gonna see him have some packages early on where they're gonna be able to showcase how good he is. And so offensively, I think I'm not saying they're gonna put up the same numbers they did this past season, but I think it's gonna be a little close to it. And on the defensive side of the ball, the question marks comes in at D line in the trenches and at the cornerback position, right? I think having Corey Raymond back in the fold is going to make that DB room so much better. Bo Davis, who's one of the best D-line coaches in the country, no matter who you talk to, he's going to be able to get the most out of that group. And, they got some players that I think going to be able to step up to the bill, man. Savion Jones, Swinson, Womack, who I think is going to be one of the best pass rushers. And then when you talk about adding somebody like Blake Baker, at defensive coordinator, coaching those linebackers, with Greg Penn and Harold Perkins and Whit Weeks, and man, I think that Blake Baker gonna have that team, that defense looking so much better than they did this past season. So I don't know if I'm ready to say national championship, but I'm confident they're gonna be in that 12-team playoff, and as long as that offense is putting up numbers like I think they will, right? I think that defense gets better and better as the weeks go on, and Blake is going to have that defense formidable.
George Peppers.
What's up, G-Sportz? It's my first time talking to you, and I've heard nothing but good things about you, and it's a pleasure to have you on with us tonight. I appreciate that. Now, you're talking about LSU being a
Hold
playoff
on.
team.
Can you hear us, G? G, can you hear us? I don't think G can hear us.
Yeah,
VK.
sounds like
I can't hear.
VK. Send that
Yes.
text right quick. Tell them log in, log out, because I do think somebody called them. When so
perfect timing.
yeah. So have them log in, log out, and then have them log back in. I think somebody called them
Mm-hmm.
when it went black for a second. All right,
Mm-hmm.
we coming, G. We coming. We
Hold
coming.
on.
We coming. We coming. Type fast, VK.
Got it. I got it. I
All
got
right,
it.
all right. Let's see if
What
he
the
got it.
hell going on?
I sent it in text. You should have it.
All right, I'm gonna log him out. Tell him come back in.
All right.
All right, I'm gonna log him out.
Go ahead.
All right, now you could call him, tell him come right back. I think somebody called him, and that's what happened. Every now and then, here on live
Could
internet
be one of them
we do
solicitors.
get a we do get a
Hope,
somebody do call a guest, and that's what
hope,
happened. There you go. All right.
hopefully it ain't them extended home warranties or
No,
what a car warranty calls.
no. G-Sportz, you hear us?
Perfect.
Yeah, I can hear y'all.
I think somebody had called you, bro. Usually when somebody calls, that's what happens.
Yeah, I put it on Do Not Disturb
All right,
just now.
good deal.
Good.
All right, George Peppers,
All
go
right.
ahead, brother.
All right, G Sports again. Let me reintroduce. It's my first time talking to you, man, and I've heard nothing but great things about you, and you do really good work. And
Appreciate
it's a pleasure to talk to you tonight.
appreciate it,
I'm
man.
not.
Presence my way too.
I hear you, brother. Here's my thing, though. Everybody's raving about look, Baker, the new coordinator, Bo Davis, Corey Raymond. I get all that. The one trepidant thing that I have for LSU, with all that talent that they got, I'm not the biggest endorser of Garrett Nussmeier. I don't know if he could be that guy. I hope they're not asking him to do Jaden things. Jaden Daniels was once in a decade. I'm just not sold on Nussmeier. I've seen where he's in games where there's indecision and whatnot. What are your thoughts of Garrett Nussmeier himself? And to me, I think it's a pivotal key that he has to be really, really good for LSU to get where they want to go. What are your thoughts on Garrett Nussmeier?
I believe in Garrett Nussmeier uh, for the simple fact that he's going into his third year in college football. His
Hmm.
relationship with Joe Sloan, him and Joe Sloan works closely together. And then you got to remember his dad coached in the NFL for a number of years. So he understands how to be a pro and understands the nuances of the quarterback position. I think what you've seen from Gary when he did get his opportunities in the past, that he was trying to prove so hard that he should have been the starter over Jaden Daniels. And you saw him take a lot of risks. And you saw him take shots downfield that he probably wouldn't have took if he was a starter. I go back to the game when he played Southern and he threw the pick six, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, Garrett Nussmeier will never be the starting quarterback at LSU." And even in the Wisconsin Bowl game, right? He threw a pivotal interception in that game that kind of made that game closer than it should have been because
Right.
he was trying to prove himself. Well, now he's the guy. He's the guy. It's not a quarterback battle. Everybody know he's the starter. So I just think that that's going to bring a different level of confidence. I think Joe Sloan is going over a lot of different scenarios where he's seeing him taking a lot of shots down the field and getting them to understand, like, man, we got to take care of football, and showing them different things that Jaden did these last 2 years. And I think Nussmeier, I'm not saying he's going to do what Jaden Daniels did, but I think he's going to throw for close to 4,000 yards, if not a little over 4,000 yards, and put himself in a situation to be a top 3 round draft pick. I think he has that kind of arm talent. Now they're gonna have to do some different things offensively. They got to take away the zone read and all that kind of. They're gonna have to do some other things like play action wise and manipulate the pocket. Well, it's to his strengths, right? So it's gonna look a little different than what you've seen with Jay and Dan. But I think Nussmeier, then his relationship with his receivers. I talk to Kyron Lacey often, and he always talking about how him and Garrett is talking about different scenarios with with different packages, and when defenses come out in certain sets on defense, how they gonna counter that and things like that. And that just further lets me know if Kyron Lacey is the wide receiver one, and you and him on the same page, and y'all constantly in constant communication about how y'all could be better as an offense, I think they're gonna be in good position, man. So I anticipate Garrett Nussmeier having a really, really good year. Not saying he's gonna be what Jaden Daniels was, so don't misconstrue what I'm saying, but I do believe in it.
Oh no, totally understand. And look, I get it. The LSU fans, the hardcore LSU fans, will probably be on board and be like, if they could get a 4,000+ yard year out of Garrett Nussmeier, they're in the playoff.
And look,
Look,
you
if
got
they
to
had a
think about
defense,
this. And you got to think about this: they gonna have arguably the best offensive line in the country, so that's gonna play a
Oh,
big
no doubt.
factor. He gonna better make a sandwich back there.
Yeah.
You could. I mean, he's got day one. He's got first round talent on that line, and look at the growth of that LSU line. That's the thing I marvel at how good they've become, and they're going to be devastatingly good. I want to stay not so much on LSU, but let's go nationally for college football. What do you think of the quote super conferences? You know, the Big Ten's got a million teams now. The ACC's got a gluttony of teams. The SEC. Do you think it's good or bad for college football that we have all these quote powerhouses in one conference?
Nah, I'm not a fan of it. I'm old school, man. I'm 39 years old, man. I grew up
Me
watching
too.
the Pac-10, the Big Ten,
Yeah.
the SEC, the ACC, the Big
Big
12. I
12.
grew up, watching them
Yep.
conference championships. I grew up watching it, so I'm not a fan of it, man. Of having a super conference. I think you're just gonna kind of take away from the irony and the I don't know what word I want to use, just the tradition of college football.
Yeah.
So I'm not a fan of it. I don't want to see it, man. Even adding Oklahoma and Texas to the SEC, I'm not really a fan of that. I'm just not. The SEC was already the best conference in the country. Now you're gonna add Texas and Oklahoma. Like, what are we doing, man? We kind of watering this thing down, putting everybody in one major conference.
It's a lateral move, I think. If you add those teams in, with that, I think it's a lateral move.
You think the Big 12 is equivalent to the SEC?
Not a chance.
So
Not
how
a
is it
chance.
a lateral move?
No. What I mean is, you're not getting any stronger with Oklahoma and Texas going to the SEC. You're
I
not.
think you
You're
are.
getting.
I think you are. You got to Brent Venables, and Steve Sarkisian is building something over there, bro. This is
They are.
gonna be criminal to see these teams face off against each other week in and week out. In my opinion,
I agree.
Mhm.
I'll kind of. I'm just gonna say this right quick. Texas is going here. Oklahoma is here. This is going to be a critical year for Oklahoma because I know Venables is trying to build, but here's the thing: they're going to have to come out with a nice year because I'm telling you, the last time Oklahoma been kind of down, we don't want to remember the days at the Barry Switzer, and that program was in hell for a long time.
But think about this: Brent Venables beat Texas last year.
Yep.
And
the only team that beat Texas.
The only team that beat Texas.
And that was in year 2.
Yeah.
And that Oklahoma program, they got a top 5 recruiting class for 2025 right now. Right? And to be honest with you, they really should have went undefeated. They lost to Kansas and they lost to I think Oklahoma State, it might have been. And they lost to them by a combined of 5 points. They really could have ran the table last year.
They could have, and a good improved Kansas team and a good Oklahoma State team in itself. So it's I think it could be a good year. I'm just saying that they got to really, if they the hardest thing a lot of times with programs is to maintain. And Oklahoma is amazing how they have maintained over the years with 2 different coaches. And now with Venables, hopefully keep it going. They just got to come out. If they have at least a 9 or 10 win season, it would really suffice that Oklahoma is still going to be a very consistent program in itself. And yeah, it brings a little bit more for the SEC. It's kind of really too much as it is anyway. Way too much.
It's too much, bro. And look, think about this. Brent Venables coached in 8 national championships.
Right.
He sure did.
Bro, that dude, he know how to build a program.
Oklahoma would be just fine. I think, like you mentioned, they've got a really good class coming in. And you mentioned last year and Bedlam, Oklahoma State's always a tricky matchup with them lately.
Yep.
As of late, Mike Gundy, air raid and all that stuff. And then Kansas. Look, Jalen Daniels is a nice quarterback for them.
He got to stay healthy.
Exactly. If he could stay upright, that team could do some damage.
Every year. Yeah.
And without
LSU better
Texas
be careful with Oklahoma in that last game of the season. I'll tell you that.
Right. But without Texas and Oklahoma, Kansas can make some hay in that Big 12. They add some teams in there. But
I know their AD is having a party when he had a party when he found out Oklahoma and Texas was leaving.
Oh, without a doubt.
I'd have chauffeured that party.
Yes, definitely.
Man,
definitely.
really.
Kansas got a new stadium is about to be built over there as well, over in Kansas. They've been working on that, and it looks really, really nice. And another thing I'm gonna say about that is the fact the one team, I'm gonna say this, should have never left the Big 12, and what an opportunity for them to take over is Missouri. They should have stayed, and it could have been a great opportunity now if they'd been still in the Big 12, to be honest, because they
I
was
guess.
in the cusp of taking over in athletics in the Big 12 before they left. And they all of a sudden they want to take the money.
That's a good
Not
point.
to be.
They took the money, but guess what? They did come into the SEC and compete in the
And
SEC championship game a few years.
and
I
look,
mean,
Missouri gonna be one of the most.
In
They're
a
gonna be one of the
weak
most underrated
SEC
teams this year.
East. Let's be real. A weak SEC East.
Don't matter. Still
It
played in
does
the conference
matter.
championship, man. They
It
got
does
there.
matter. The
They were winning 10
SEC,
games and everything, man.
I
Come on,
understand,
guys.
but
Watch
the
this.
SEC East used to be a linchpin way back in the day. Just saying, bro. It's not what it was.
And the West wasn't at one time either.
Back in the day, the East used to be the
Okay, and
the
before that,
East,
the West
and
was
then
too.
the
Because I know
West took over.
LSU won the SEC West as a 5-3 team. So it
I
happened.
remember that. I
Okay,
know.
go ahead.
I remember that. I'm
Go
saying
ahead,
the East was
George.
the
Back to
beast.
you,
let,
George.
Go ahead,
let me
bro. Go ahead.
educate this young man here, G-Sports. Let me educate this man right here.
Go ahead.
Missouri in a weak SEC East did very well.
They
Who did
did.
they beat in their bowl game and did not give up a point? Ohio
Ohio
State.
State.
Oh man, that don't
They
count.
won the Fiesta Bowl against Ohio. And now, granted,
Hey,
what's
That don't
that?
count, man.
hey, that
How
was
many players Ohio State set out that game?
About 8.
Yeah, see,
There
come
you
on.
go.
I
Come on.
get, but still, the fact that
that.
but they run
Hey,
so deep, the Buckeyes. They run so doggone deep. They could bring dudes off the
They wasn't
squad and get in
motivated.
there.
They used to play for national championship. Them
Thank
people wasn't
you.
motivated.
They
they
weren't
had
motivated.
I
they had
agree.
they had
I'm not
players
It's
saying
like
left
with
not,
that you
Bama.
thought
When you
but
play Bama in a bowl game other than the BCS playoff, you know you got a chance to beat them.
Yep.
nope. This is where I disagree. Kansas State a couple of years ago, I thought the same thing. I said, "Oh, Nick ain't gonna have them boys ready to go." They destroyed Kansas State in the
That was
Superdome,
different. But when they played Utah
and
in
they
that
got
Sugar
blasted.
Bowl,
And they played
They
them
got
Oklahoma
boys
that
didn't
year.
want to play there.
One year they played Oklahoma, and Oklahoma blasted Bama.
Blasted.
yep
Yep.
on that carpet. But that being said, I mean, you know, Eli Drinkwitz is doing some good things there at Missouri. I mean, they had a little bumps early, but they look like they've got their footing together. I mean, and look, granted, it was an unmotivated, you could say unmotivated Ohio State team, and I'm not going to argue that at all. But still, you put a bagel on them people. That's still a pretty, and that's what got Baker the LSU job that game. Ohio State has a lot of 5-star, 4-star, big time kind of caliber guys, and they got a kid, a receiver that a freshman, Smith is his last name. I forget his first name.
Jeremiah
That
Smith.
dude, Jeremiah Smith. They're talking about he's better than Jackson Smith and Jiba and potentially Marvin Harrison Jr. I'm like,
He the real
whoa.
deal. I've seen him in person a couple times. He the real deal.
Yeah, and he's legit 6'3", 215. That dude's got legit height, speed, and route running already. And this cat, look, I'm a Michigan Wolverines fan. I've had my fun the last 3 years. Beating Ohio State is fun. It's awesome stuff. But I think the
I
run
don't
ends.
know too many people that are Michigan Wolverine fans like me. Man, I rock with you, man. Shout
All
out
right.
Coach Bellamy, man.
I'm good with
Shout out
that.
Coach Bellamy, man. Sharp product.
That's right, baby. Sharp products, baby. That's right.
That's what's up. But Axe VK, we was at Hooters tonight. They punished Washington for the Natty. We was there, and he was like, "What you thinking? What you thinking?" I said, "Man, they're good. They're gonna get this." I love me some Michael Penix. I think that dude is gonna be a really nice pro. I hate the situation he's in with Atlanta because he got to sit behind 35-year-old Kirk Cousins with a $160 million contract, and you got to wait. I hate that, but
Yeah.
whatever.
I was ecstatic to see them beat Bama, man, because I got tired of people saying that the Big Ten can't beat the SEC team. I was ecstatic to see that happen.
G-Sportz. Let me tell you, I was watching that game with my youngest brother, who Jared and Enrique know very well, and he was watching me when Milrow and on that fourth down play. He goes, "What do you call?" I thought to myself, I said, "Damn it, I don't care what they call, stop them." And then the mistake was the call they made. That was a bad play call. I don't care. Michigan steamrolled that and said, "Get out of here. We're going to the Natty." And my CEO right here was talking all kind of noise about how Alabama was going to school Michigan. VK, tell me I'm wrong. You can't. Remember that? In advance of that game, what was he saying? You gonna see. You gonna see. Okay. Who won the
I
Natty?
let Twitter have it that night.
Huh?
I let Twitter
What's
have
that?
it that night. I was on Twitter talking a lot of
I
noise.
bet. I bet. Man, you got to back that up, and we backed it up. You go out there and you punish a Washington team that averages north of 40 points a game and held them to 14. I'll
Yep.
say this though, for the Wolverines coming onto the national championship defense, they're going to have some real tough spots. Texas, Oregon, Ohio State, obviously. And I don't want to hear, well, if we don't win it this year, it's a bad year. No, you can't get any better than a national championship.
Can't.
But Sharon Moore, I got to give that dude a lot of love. The brother did a great job last year in big spots. In
Yep.
big
When
spots.
Harbaugh was
4
suspended.
0 when exactly. When
I think
Harbaugh,
the
but
game I think the game that got him the job is when they beat Penn State. And I think it was on the road.
Yeah.
yeah, on the road, and they won by 10, I think, or something like
Yeah,
that.
without Harbaugh. That
Yep.
solidified him to get the head coaching spot.
You go to Happy Valley and do that with your backup coach. When I say backup, with your offensive coordinator,
Yeah.
and you go in there and you hang it on them. But Penn State had trash quarterbacks last year too. I mean that your boy Drew, I forgot his name. Arar, I think is his name.
Mm-hmm.
That dude was disgustingly bad last year. But I'm taking away nothing from our Wolverines. Two
Don't
fans on
downplay
here.
our wins, man. Come on, man. Don't do that.
Hell no. Hell no. But all I kept hearing before the Alabama game, man, Bama gonna bust you. Georgia gonna bust you. I said, okay, we'll see. I ain't say nothing.
Shame on
BK,
you,
did I say
BK.
anything?
Shame
Nah,
on
see,
you, man.
see,
Shame on you.
I'm like this. It was happy times for the Michigan people. It was sad times for me. I have never been that upset. I watched the national championship. I did because of my friend George, a Michigan fan. I was like, if you guys make it, that'll be the only time I watch the playoff. I put a ban on the playoff, but I want to watch it
Florida State.
anyway.
That's why.
Exactly. And to
I
me,
know.
I understand all the rhetoric and all that, but still, I don't care what anybody say. It just still don't make sense to me. It
Hell on
did.
that rhetoric, man. It's a team that's from a power conference that went undefeated that should have been in the playoffs. Period.
Jordan Travis getting
Exactly.
hurt, man. It's about the bread, man. Come
Yeah,
on
that's
now.
the sad part,
That's
G.
the
That's the
sad part.
sad part.
About the
Sad
bread, man.
part.
They want the viewers.
I
Them
understand it,
TV
but
sponsors are putting a lot of pressure on them, man. They had to do what they had to do. I'm
yeah.
not saying I agree with them. I'm just
Oh,
saying.
I know you're not. Yeah, you speaking facts, but I just still look at that Ohio State team that won the first college playoffs, who got down to their third string quarterback with Cardell Jones, who
And
won the Big Ten
championship.
championship, and they were ranked sixth. They hopped over Baylor and TCU, and then they beat Alabama in the dome. I was there, and then they beat Oregon in the championship. So you telling me that you could give Ohio State a chance with their third string quarterback, but you can't give Florida State a
But you
chance
gotta
with their
remember,
backup?
when Cardell Jones did get his chance, he put on a show.
He
What's
sure
what's
did.
what's the backup for Florida State? Schumacher.
I think it was Schumacher, I believe. Yeah.
Schumacher. So I think I'm pronouncing his name
Tate
wrong.
Watermaker.
Tate Watermaker.
Yes.
That's it. That's a
Yeah.
Watermaker.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
When
It's
he
Tate Watermaker.
Tate
Yeah,
Watermaker.
when Travis got hurt and he got his opportunity, man, he pissed down his leg. He didn't look
He
like
did.
he was a quarterback that could lead this team through a BCS playoff. And I think that's what hurt him. Like, that was his opportunity to show, like, okay, even though Travis hurt, we can still put y'all in. I think when Cardell Jones got his opportunity, he put on a show.
He
And
did.
and then you look at that year too. You look at that year with Ohio State won that whole thing and everything and getting that opportunity. All I know, Ohio State, and not knocking Cordell, he was unbelievable. But thank the Big 12 commissioner trying to pull that stupidness, trying to pull a co-champion with TCU and Baylor. Because guess what? Baylor would have been in the freaking playoff if he wouldn't have pulled that stupidness. So with that happening, that confusion, Ohio State leaped over him. And then you look at Florida State, it kind of reminded me so much of the year that Florida State lost to Tennessee in the national championship. Florida State was rolling until Prince Winky got hurt. And when he got hurt, I just knew right then and there, trouble was on the freaking horizon because Marcus Alton was not the guy.
Right.
George, you got another question for
Got another
G
just
Sports?
Yeah, I do. I wanted to transition into. I don't want to talk about the NBA draft. I mean, we did that enough earlier. I mean, this trash fest that they got going on right now. I want to talk about the WNBA because I just saw the wildest story, and I don't want to comment on it, but it's going to segue into about Caitlin Clark. I don't know if you heard, but WWE superstar Bianca Belair invited Caitlin Clark to compete at the 2025 Royal Rumble. Y'all want y'all laugh of the night? There it is. Anyway, let's talk about Caitlin Clark and what she
Not a
has
laugh. It's
done.
bringing in, bringing
I
in
know, but
the viewers.
can she do an RKO or suplex? I mean, none of that.
Like,
Or throw somebody
Caitlin
over a
Clark,
top rope? No.
she could do a Drew Barry when the Royal Rumble was here.
Drew
Drew Barry.
Carey.
Thank you,
Drew
Drew Carey.
Carey.
Drew Carey,
Yeah,
yeah.
Drew Carey, the Price is
Yeah,
Right host.
yeah, he walked in and threw himself out. Caitlin Clark can do the
He
same
did.
goddamn thing. Go ahead.
What?
Anyway, talking about her, G-Sportz, talking about her.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the impact she has made in the last few years at the NCAA level. You know, two national championship appearances with Iowa, getting both times getting beat, and now having a rookie season in Indiana. After a horrid start for the team, they've gotten their sea legs about them. Have gotten off on a five. I think they've won five of the last six. But let's talk about the quote transcendence of her. Is she that transcendent a player to you? I think she's a great player, but there are some people throwing GOAT status on her, and I'm like, no, 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 hold the phones on that. I mean, she's passed a lot of legends, but to you, where do you see Caitlin Clark at this stage?
Today, good player, elite shooter. I don't know why people saying she's at GOAT status right now. She has a long way to go. She's definitely not a transcendent talent. When I think
No,
about transcendent talents, I think about somebody like Elena Boston, Shamika Holslaw, Diana Taurasi, Simona
Sean Miller.
Custis, Cheryl Miller, yeah,
Mhm.
Sylvia Fowles. You know, when I think about transcendent talent, I look at those kind of players, and that's not to say that Caitlin Clark won't end up being an elite player in this league, but not today. You know, she still got so much more to prove, and she's having a really good rookie year. I think that she's been getting she's hit a couple rough patches here and there with people trying to foul her and do some criminal things to her, but I've been impressed with how she's overcome some of this adversity and some of the scrutiny and some of the things that people just the pictures they've been trying to paint as it pertains to Caitlin Clark. But just to answer your question, man, I think she's a good player, elite shooter, GOAT status. She still got a ways to go to be on that level and to be considered that.
I think the only player right now you can say is starting to make moves and GOAT status is right now one player who is just killing it, and that's Asia Wilson. It is amazing what is she doing, averaging a double double a game, even though the Aces are struggling right now. And I think the Chelsea Gray injury has been huge for the
Mm-hmm.
Aces. And hopefully they can get her on the floor soon. They get her on the floor. Who's gonna stop the Aces? But that's the
Right.
only thing that's holding them back is her not on the floor because Plum has got to really put up some more numbers. And Jackie Young, I mean, playing a little bit out of position. So the Chelsea Gray injury has been very, very huge. But Asia Wilson, you can say is almost like GOAT status right now. The way she is just
I mean,
killing.
she's shooting the ball 22 times a game.
Mhm.
Absolutely,
Yep.
I
and
think
she
she I think she's
She's
averaging the
mentoring.
most
She's
shot attempts out
mentoring
of
herself.
everybody in the WNBA right now.
Yep.
gotta ask you this,
All about
G,
opportunity.
in the transition. Absolutely. Um, in transition now, talking about the recruiting phase, and that's the one thing we wanted to talk to you about tonight as well. How this process goes. You've been in this game for a minute now, not just in media, but also on the recruiting side.
Mm-hmm.
How and we're trying to school not just the viewers, but also the parents that are watching this tonight. How do these players get these stars, these 1, 2 stars, 3 stars, and also give them the clarity and meaning about what does it mean to be 3 star, 4 star, whatever, and how you get them more than anything else, especially this recruiting process.
You talking about basketball, football, or both?
I can say let's go with both. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of parents sometimes get very confused, especially with the recruiting process, especially about coaches calling and all that stuff. And some parents just sometimes they don't get that information even from the coaches itself. And it's
Right.
shocking because of the fact, like, wait a minute, you ain't talked to the head coach, like something
Right.
is up with that.
And some parents be like, my son only a 2-star, but he better than that 5-star. You know how that go.
Right. The recruiting process is tricky, bro. It's really tricky. I've been fortunate enough to be around it for over a decade now, and I've been able to see the highs and the lows, and it could get wicked. And so everybody knows basketball, you get recruited, man. You don't really get recruited by what you're doing with your high school team. Um, you get recruited by what they see you doing a shoot circuit. And not saying that kids that don't play on the shoot circuit can't get recruited, but when you think about somebody like Chris Annett, right? Chris Annett goes on the Puma circuit and tears it up. He becomes a 5-star in a month, and he has offers from all the blue blood, Syracuse, UConn, Kentucky, you name it. He got it. And had he just played for Newman this year, he wouldn't be a 5-star right now, and he wouldn't be getting recruited by some of these blue blood schools. And so the circuit, getting all those eyes on you, all those different media reporters, all these different college coaches putting eyes on you, that played a big part into why he is what he is today, right? He's on the USA basketball team. Why did that happen? Because of what he did on the circuit, and he got invited to the top 100. Was able to go up there, and I think he got MVP of the top 100. And so basketball is just a little different than football. In football, what you do on Friday nights and what you do at these camps is what gets you recruited, and what gets you some of these top offers in the country. In football, as you can see, and I'm not saying, there's not any knock to nobody for 247 Sports or On Three, but you will see a kid that if he gets a Bama offer right now or LSU offer right now, they'll instantly make him a 3-star or 4-star before even evaluating the kid. And I just don't agree with that, right? I think in football, they don't do, for some of the kids, they don't do their due diligence in evaluating the whole entirety, the whole body of work of a kid. They give you these rankings and these stars based off of who offers you. So if Bama, LSU, and Texas offer you, they just feel like he automatically must be a stud. Sometimes college coaches miss too now. They miss too. You Bama might offer a kid and he might not be what they think he's gonna be, or he might not project what they thought he was gonna be. And so I just think they got to do a better job of evaluating the whole body of work with these kids. But to answer your question, if a kid goes to a Bama camp, an LSU camp, runs a 4.4, and has a good showing in drill work and one-on-ones, most often than not, he's probably gonna get the offer, right? Especially if you look the part. That's just how it goes. I think a lot of parents, they don't understand how the camp do. You got some kids, they go into camp they shouldn't be going to. I was talking to a parent the other day. She took her child to Tennessee, Arkansas, and the University of Texas, and he has no offers. And he's going into his senior year. And I'm like, why wouldn't you go to Southeastern camp? Why wouldn't you go to Tulane camp? Why wouldn't you go to UL camp? And I think sometimes parents and kids, they doing this for social media. They want to just say, hey, man, I went to Bama camp, and take the picture after the camp over with the head coach just to say they went to the camp. But going to that camp really makes sense. And so I think a lot of parents just got to be smart and be mindful of what camps you're going to and how you're going about navigating through that, right? Because some of these camps just don't make sense to go to. It don't make sense to go to.
Could we say that a lot of these parents are not being schooled when it comes to this, and also maybe thinking big? Because like you just said, went to Texas, Alabama, but don't have any offers. If you coming up in your senior season and you don't have any offers, you might have to think the Southeastern, the Grambling, and the Southern route.
Humble yourself. And sometimes, man, look, and I'm not blaming any parents, but sometimes when your kid has been the best player on his team in park ball, and he gets to high school and he might be the best player on his team, sometimes that could be fool's gold.
Yeah.
First team all district, to me, being first team all district is watered down more than it's ever been. Back in the day when I was going to school, I graduated 2003. If you was first team all district back then, you really was good. Now it's kind of like politics with the all district team. People doing favors, man. Look, you put my guy on the second team, and I'm gonna do, like that's what's going on in the all district meetings. And so just because your child's all district don't mean he deserves an offer from Tulane.
Right.
That doesn't mean that. Just because he's the best player on his team doesn't mean he deserves an offer from UL. And I think parents don't understand, and they're so overzealous over their child instead of getting real information. That's one thing I pride myself on with any kid that I help. I get real information. I'm not talking to somebody talk to. I'm going to the horse's mouth. I'm going to the position coach. I'm going to the head coach. I'm going to the OC. I'm going to find real information. Look, this what they think about your kid. They don't have an offer grade for your kid? Or they have an offer grade for your kid, but the only way he gonna get the offer is if he come there and test well. So there's a lot of different things coming to play when you start talking about how kids gonna get recruited from a school and things of that nature. So parents just need to make sure they if you agree to the process, man, find somebody that's been through it, that has different experiences, that could show you and teach you how to go about this process. Because if you're just going into this thinking that, man, my child, the best player on his team, and he deserves an offer from this school, it just don't work like that. Because sometimes your child's skill set doesn't translate to college football. And that's just the truth of it. And sometimes you got to have those tough conversations with parents. And some of them don't want to hear it, and they get offended, but it's the truth. And I've always prided myself on being real, and sometimes they don't like always hearing the real.
And I think times has really, really changed over the years. And you're right about that. Like a lot more kids in football going to camp and everything. And sometimes you have to be smart. And sometimes it's a good thing they go to some of these camps to get discovered, because a lot of them, they haven't been looked at. Even when the juniors going into seniors, it's like, yeah, I got to make my rounds so I can get looked at. And it's the time to do that. Now, basketball, you're right about that with the circuits. But I had to learn that. I'm going into my 19th year in this business. And a long time ago, always starting basketball, like we knew the summer times would prepare you for the season, and that regular season matters. It doesn't no more.
Right.
It's unbelievable, because I'm thinking, I'm gonna say this: the one person that I totally missed, and if I see him again, I will shake his hand and apologize to him, and that's Mitchell Robinson.
Mm-hmm.
I said it myself about Mitchell Robertson. He at first he was a 4 to 5 star athlete, and I was like, no way. I'm seeing him on the floor. I see laziness. I see this. I see that in the regular season. I see Keaton Thompson, who is only 6'4.5", getting boards over him, and that was like, And all of a sudden, senior year, he turns it around, has a great year. But then all of a sudden, when you look at the summer, all the other camps he did and the circuits, when people told me what he did in the circuits, and then you realize, oh, and all of a sudden now he's playing for the Knicks,
Yep.
doing well, having a nice career. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, I'll tell anybody, I was wrong about Mitchell Robinson. And
Yes, you were.
I would go, if I ever see him, I would shake his hand and apologize. I shook his hand one time before that he had close to a triple double in a win against Landry Walker. I shook his hand. I said, great game. The one thing I told him, and not to take a shot at it, I just told him, can you do it every game? And the reason why I said that is the fact you are big. You could dominate.
Right.
I didn't see players about your size, not just your size, but even at 6'4.5", 6'5", who
Right.
got vertical and kill on the inside. You can do it too.
Right.
But I completely understand, because you look at his role and what he is, it's amazing. But yeah, that circuit, it looms huge right now, because there's a couple of girls basketball players that we've been watching, me and JB and everything, real close and checking out with, and that circuit has really helped a lot of these female athletes and some of these other male athletes, getting offers and all that stuff. So and those circuit games and the camps,
Mm-hmm.
those camps are huge too, because they might be looking at a list, like for example, like Southeastern or UNO. The way the UNO women's program is starting to improve tremendously. They might be looking at a list of certain girls, but then all of a sudden there might be one or two girls coming in camp, and they're just so unbelievable. It's like Man, we're going to put them on the list a little bit, just see what we can do to maybe get them. So those camp, you're absolutely right. Those camps mean a whole lot. The game has really changed in recruiting. It's just the fact I think the publications, sometimes maybe go overboard, but you do make a good point that sometimes the parents has to learn the process, but not just that, they have to be smart about the whole thing as well.
And man, I'm gonna tell you something. A lot of kids need to understand too, especially in football. You have to be able to test well when you go to these camps. Unless you just a freak of nature, like a Trey Dez Green, where you walking in the camp at 6'6", 6'7", 200 plus pounds, looking like a freak, bro, you got to be able to test because they want to see you run the 40, do the 3-cone shuttle, do the broad jump. They want to see your vertical. They want to get your wingspan. You got to be able to test well. It's the same thing with the NFL Combine. Look at Brian Thomas. They had him going middle of the second round. Soon as he tests, what happens? Now he goes 23 in the draft. It's the same thing with college recruiting. Man, that's why I always try to promote the kids. Man, run track. Go find somebody that understands on how to prepare you for the 40-yard dash. That first 10-yard split is so critical to running a good 40. And that's something kids run for. They run from it. They think they can just go to these camps and go do one-on-ones, and that's going to result in an offer. It doesn't work like that, man. One of the first things Cortez Hankton and Frank Wilson told me when they started recruiting Colin Billiard, they said, man, G, we think he could play here. He has the size. He has the athleticism. We need to see him test. And the day he went test, he had like a 10-9 broad. He ran a 4.51 in the 40. His wingspan was like 79 inches. That's what got him the offer. Now, he did good at the camp too, in drills and one-on-ones, but that's what really stamped it, the way he tested. And, some of these kids, they don't understand it. They think they could run from that, and you can't unless you walking into that camp as a freak.
And you speaking of Cortez Hankton and Frank Wilson, St. All guys in itself, you know what I'm
Oh
saying?
Lord, I knew that was coming. As soon as G-Sportz said those two things, I knew. Here you come.
Yeah, I know that short thing was coming, but St. All gonna get his glory too. That's all I gotta say. You know what I'm saying? That's like that.
That's my guys.
Yeah, but regardless of the fact, there's very few freaks of nature. Like you said, Trey Green, Shaquem Stewart is another one. And he's looking scary by the minute. I think JB sent me some video when he was out there going against somebody in Rivals, an office, and looked like he didn't slimmed up and got a little more cut. And
he's so good. They talking about reclassifying the 2025.
Right.
That's how good he is. But I'm gonna give y'all a nugget though. Y'all I think y'all do know about him because y'all saw him in the state championship. Ahmad Hudson from Ruston High School.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. The one that was covering Trey Dez Green the whole game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ahmad Hudson, he's gonna be the next big thing in Louisiana. Class of 2028. No, 2027. Tight in that Ruston. Freak. 6'5.5", smooth, good feet, soft hands. He looked really, really good at the elite camp this past Saturday at LSU, man. He gonna be the next 4-5 star. That's if he chooses to do football over basketball, because he's really good in basketball too.
Yeah, he is real nice in basketball. Real nice. So, he's very good at lead, especially with that quarterback, Bradley at Ruston as well. I wouldn't be surprised Ruston would be right there again. Huh?
Bradley just committed to
Tulane.
Ain't that crazy? You right there in Ruston. You across the street from Louisiana Tech, and you coming to Tulane. I don't know how.
He went on an official visit to Louisiana Tech, but then he came to Tulane after, and then Summerall and Brock Hayes, man, just scooped and scored.
Yeah, but La Tech, you can't let that happen though.
But then you think about it. La Tech is in what? Conference USA.
Yeah.
Tulane is in the American, which they might have. American Conference could have a chance to maybe sneak in at the 12 spot.
And I understand that. I understand that.
But I get where you're coming from, though.
But this hometown kid right next door, you got to do everything you can to keep him in your city.
And then you got to think about this. La Tech only won 3 games last year.
Yeah.
Tulane has been on fire the last couple of years. And I know they got a new coach in Summerall, but his track record looked pretty good. He won conference 2 years in a row at Troy.
Sure did.
And so, when you recruiting a kid, you're gonna use that
Oh
against
yeah,
Latte. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And La Tech, you got to think about it. Things have not been as consistent. We just got to see what happens with year number 2 with Sonny Crombie.
3.
But
You better get it right this year.
is year 3 for Crombie?
Year
Okay,
3.
I'm
You
sorry,
better get it right this
year
year.
3.
Hey,
So
I'm gonna tell you what a couple people have told Sonny. They told him you got to come to New Orleans and try to recruit also.
He going to
You
get all them
just
Texas kids.
yeah, exactly. He said you got to come to New Orleans. Now they did get Fred Robertson, but he said the people have told him you got to get these people from New Orleans to come to La Tech.
I'm hearing a lot of rumblings that if Sonny Company don't get it right this year, they going after Joe Sloan to be the next head coach at Louisiana Tech.
I've heard that also.
Bill Sloan, he's from. I'm trying to think.
The OC from LSU
LSU, yeah.
Oh,
was at La Tech all them years with Skip Holtz when they was winning.
Mm.
So you're already familiar with the program. And, yeah.
Well, somebody on the panel not a big fan of Skip Holtz. Not at all. I really thought on what's his the coach from trying to think, Dykes. Dykes is definitely a way better coach than Skip Holtz. Just being honest.
But Skip Holtz he won now.
But
He
Skip
won
Holtz
championship. He won a championship.
The only thing about
he won a ton, and he put out a plethora of draft picks.
He did.
Out of Louisiana Tech.
Here's the problem with Skip Holtz. Regardless of him winning,
big game against Southern Miss, a chance to host the tournament. You not the tournament, the championship.
Yeah.
To the championship, he lost those games.
Big games.
Miami though.
Games. Skip Holtz did not do well in big games. Even at East Carolina, he did not do well in big games. That was the problem with Skip. He's not close to his daddy at all.
Well, hold on
games,
now.
he chokes.
Shout out to Skip Holtz for winning 2 USFL and the UFL championships 3 in a row.
That's his calling card. Would I get it back in college? Who knows?
We'll see.
Yeah.
G-Sportz, man. It's been a pleasure, my man, of having you on this show today, man. We definitely have you back, bro.
Appreciate y'all, man. Anytime.
Definitely, man. Thank you.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you. And all parents and anybody who's watching, we will repost this episode. So for not just our viewers, but parents alike, if you want to learn about recruiting and stuff like that, please watch this particular episode of the Hash It Out Show so you could get taught about the recruiting process, the 4-star, 5-star.
You gonna repost it?
I'm gonna repost it.
Oh, okay.
We all gonna do that.
It sounds like you're giving orders all of a sudden.
No, I'm not giving orders. I'm giving
like we gonna repost it.
I'm doing a public address. I'm doing a public service.
I gotta get it sometime, G. He like giving orders out of nowhere though.
I'm not
giving
orders. This dude here. I'm not giving orders. I'm doing a public service announcement to our viewers and to our parents because we've been talked about as a Hash It Out Show crew. We've been talking about wanting to do a recruiting kind of symposium so we can teach these parents and getting a crash course in the recruiting process.
We will repost. G, one question for you before you go. I just thought about this because we talked about it last night. The running back class of this year, Louisiana, 2025. Is this the best running back class ever in this state?
With JT Lindsay, Harlem Berry,
Ford, Jasper Parker, and all of them, yeah.
I can't say that right now. I would have to go back and go through the archives. But I would imagine it has to be at least top 5. Top 5 ever?
I'm saying top 2. I'm saying top 2.
Yeah, I gotta go back and do my research. It's a hell of a running back class for sure.
Definitely.
15 backs for one senior year. That's maybe the most ever, and it depends on how they perform.
I got 16.
16. I'm sorry.
No, I'm saying I got 16 because I forgot one name yesterday.
16 what?
Oh, well, he's saying 15 backs. I named 15 running backs who has offers from different universities. That's what I named. And I forgot Jalen Noel from Lafayette Christian also.
Gotcha. It's definitely a talented running back class.
Definitely.
And one of them, we talked about yesterday, Dedrick Lasty. The one is just he's
Riverside.
Yeah,
yes, it's unbelievable. Just a dog in itself. And my biggest thing, I love the guy myself. I really feel like he needs to go to JUCO and go kill it, and he'll definitely get offers if after he goes to JUCO. You know,
Yeah.
I hope he gets a small school offer to get a 4 year scholarship and play. But I really think if he goes to JUCO, especially out in Mississippi, he will kill.
Yeah, Dedrick is a really good player. I think Lee Russell, the head coach over there, has a lot of relationships. I think
hmm
you'll see him be able to sign somewhere a quality school by signing day. Lee will make sure he has a plan for him for sure. Dedrick is a really good player, really small, but he's very dynamic.
most definitely.
Absolutely.
G-Sportz, my man. Thank you, my brother.
Appreciate y'all, man. Anytime.
Definitely.
Thank you,
I got G-Sportz. George,
George. Are you still here?
I'm here.
There you go.
I'm
He's
here.
alive, ladies and gentlemen. He's
boy,
alive.
I'm just waiting on y'all. I mean, it's just, I don't know.
my boy.
I was looking at the Pelicans first round pick. I don't know if you guys saw,
I saw
but
it.
they did draft a center out of Baylor, all defensive play, blah, 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 all first team defensive player. Eve Missy is his
Yavis,
name.
Yavis
Missy.
Missy.
Yeah, but that guy. Um, I wanted to see. I mean, obviously, this is we're into the last quarter of the first round, which once again we said it earlier. It's a stupid idea, but hey, Big Nose Adam got it in the cookie jar. I guess I don't know. Talk about Big Nose Adam Silver, the commish of this here NBA. Just come up pretty good. Just come off a 64 win team winning your world title, Boston, and some great subplots in these playoffs on the way to that final. Minnesota, Oklahoma City did really well. The resurgence of New York in the East, winning the 2 seed on the last day. So you had compelling storylines. Indiana trying to get back to relevance, and you go with this chicanery. I mean, come on. But I'm curious to see what my beloved Knicks are going to do with 24 and 25. Something tells me they're going to package those for some semblance of future assets because they do have to recoup what they gave up yesterday. Four non what's the word I'm looking for? Non-protected number ones and one protected. They do get a two back and they get Bridges, but that's a lot. And he's gonna have to live up to it, but I think he will. All I know is if y'all saw the tape of Stephen A from his house when the Bridges deal went down,
Oh, he went nuts.
pull it up. That's Stephen A, professional. He's a pro New York Knicks fan. The
Good for
unbridled
him.
enthusiasm that dude, yeah, that he is absolutely. But we'll we'll see about how the rest of this night's gonna go. And they haven't had the big one yet, like player for player big one. They've had the Bridges trade. Yeah, that's a big one because you're giving up assets. But they haven't had the big one, player for player. Who is it going to be? I mean, the rumors have been abound. And, you look at like the stories about the Pelicans. Are they going to move pieces? I would have thought this first pick would be a point guard. And the guy I mentioned earlier, Kolek from Marquette, um, one guy that slipped in this draft, and that's how what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of unpredictable. It was Dalton Connect went 17 when he was slated to be a lottery pick. What does that tell you?
I told you I was keeping my thoughts to myself on
I
Dalton
know
Connect.
what your thoughts were, but I'm saying the unpredictability of this draft, like, oh, this guy's going here, this guy's going there.
Hey, Zach
Except for
was
1, 2, you didn't have
they
that.
said Zach Edey was gonna go 20th at one time.
I mean, he went ninth to the Grizzlies.
He's a
It's
lottery pick.
Yeah, he is.
All right.
So
Sheldon Fiend. He says, George, Eric finally putting it together. They beat all four teams they played today. Um,
let's see. The Lighthouse of the
what
Blind,
what teams did
Texas
they
Roadhouse,
play?
you.
What
Huh?
7-on-7 is this at? Who they play, Sheldon? I need to know.
Yeah, inquiring minds need to know, including
Yeah,
me.
who they play because it's
Because
been a struggle at 7-on-7 for John Eric.
yeah, well, they were last place on the Huntville 7-on-7 a few weeks ago. Was it last week that you went?
Yeah,
It was last week. They were horrid that day.
they, whew, they
Wasn't there, but yeah, my friend that I work with told me, he said, man, it was like watching a bad blank movie, but I'm not going to say to fill in the blank. So I'm watching I said a horror movie, worse, but he said it was bad, and um, I tried to get him to tell me what happened with the quarterback situation. He said he would get with me like in a more
He's at
private kind
Alexandria.
of setting.
He's at
Huh?
Alexandria. He's
Yeah,
at
I know, but
Alexandria.
no, 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 no. What led him to go? The insights of what let him get what got him out of here.
Oh,
That's what I wanted to find out.
well,
Me, I'm about the meat and potatoes, dude.
he's living there. I mean, I don't know what
He
else
is,
to find out. He's living there.
but
He told VK why he had picked JT Lindsay as the best running back in the state yesterday.
wait, who said this? JT Lindsay. Oh my God.
The
Okay,
quarterback that left that was at
Aaron,
Everett, that's now at
that dude,
Alexandria. Yes,
that dude.
yes.
Get out of here! You fooling me now?
He was on, I ain't fooling you. He was on VK behind. How you don't pick JT Lindsay? Yeah, yeah. I
Yikes!
told VK, boy, he opened in Pandora's box. But I want to say who the best running back is. See?
He did.
Man, it don't
Anyway,
matter. I'm ready. I'm
anyway,
ready. I told
guys.
you, I'm ready for the blowback.
Yeah. So what?
You sure?
Ready
Ready
for
for
the
the what?
blowback. I've been in the business long enough, man. Oh, she
Uh,
go mine in the gutter, Mister Boyd. Stop
Oh
that.
wait. No, 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 it ain't the gutter. I know where he's going with that.
Yeah.
Know your hosts. That man. No, that
Oh,
man's better than that.
So
interesting.
what? They had this must have been the one at Newman.
Well, the Hornville
So
one.
well they had
Spell
their
check
backup.
seldom.
Had their backup
Spell
today.
spell check seldom.
Oh, at least
Well,
tell them
these
alone. It's
these
okay.
Man,
seldom
I ain't
long.
leaving that man alone. He got to be educated with that.
Yeah.
Hornville.
All right. Well, they had their backups play today.
Backups or freshman teams.
That too.
Because Newman, it's 2 years post Arch. Brother Martin is on the kickback. Hornville, brand new coach, Coach Goin, Bourne. I mean, Coach Bourne.
Was born.
Uh,
And
look,
Newman still has Will Friend, so that's
yeah.
interesting in itself. You know what I'm saying? Newman's not gonna be that bad this year.
No,
But
All right.
nobody said they would.
hmm,
Yeah, we know you was there, Seldon, but we saying was it their starters that they played against? That's all I'm saying. I need to know, was it Brother Martin
it's all
starters?
right. It's all
Was it Hornville starters? Was it Newman starters? Let me stop
right.
messing with Seldon. Let me stop. Look,
Yeah.
we
he,
gotta
he-
we
he's
gotta
he's
end
a,
this
he's a
show.
he's a John Everett supporter, man. He's
Oh
a
man,
he's
Oh,
he's
yeah,
a
too.
Seldon
fan.
good
So
people. Seldon good people.
exactly, Seldon's real good people. We
Yes.
appreciate him joining us and watching the show. We love all our people, all our viewers that come on around here every Tuesday and Wednesday nights. You know what I'm saying? We love what we do on this show, and it's all about the kids, man. It's all about the kids. Even though I open Pandora's box, it's about the kids.
Yeah, they coming
You
for you.
did.
All right. Look,
You
guys.
did.
Look, we
Uh,
gotta go ahead and end this show. Hey, we are back Tuesday night, 7:30,
all
as we
right.
start Legends Month. And our guest on July 2nd is none other than the LHSAA Hall of Famer himself, Ryan Perilou. That's right, the great one.
Eagerly looking forward to that one.
Oh, Ryan Perilou will join us right here, July 2nd. So we need everybody to tune in. He got a great story to tell with everyone. He is our only guest that night. We're going to talk to him for a good minute. He's ready to rock and roll with us. So make sure you guys are tuned in. Ryan Perilou, Tuesday night, 7:30. But other than that, we're gonna call this a night.
What's Wednesday night?
Oh, yeah. Thank you. And then
Call of
July
Duty?
3rd, the night after, we have former Leesville running back,
Michael
LSU
Ford.
Tiger, Michael Ford, and right behind him, former L.W. Higgins player, LSU player, former Cowboys, former Saints, the one and only Skylar Green. That's right. We got that coming up next week. And the week following, we have Patrick Surtain and Chris Cooper. And we're going to have some more to follow. But that's what we have coming up next week. Ryan Perilou, July 2nd. And on July 3rd, Michael Ford and Skylar Green. With that being said, that is a wrap for our show. We will be back, like I said, Tuesday and Wednesday for George Peppers, for VK Jones. I'm JB, the sports guy. Who left me something? All right, bro. I got you, Seldom. I'm JB, the sports guy. Hey, go get Cardell Stewart. Yeah. You could get Cardell Stewart to be on this show. We will put Cardell Stewart. I want him in July. July. Not July 23rd and 24th, though. Not that day. But other than that, you get Cardell Stewart, make this work. But anyway, guys, now I'm gonna close this show. Y'all take care.
Welcome to Bayou AV Security. My name is Rusty Mathern, proud owner and operator. We specialize in providing top-notch audio solutions, advanced security cameras, reliable internet services, and stunning permanent holiday lighting. At Bayou AV Security, we are your one-stop shop for all your needs, whether it's enhancing your home entertainment system, securing your property, ensuring a seamless internet connection, or illuminating your outdoor spaces. We've got you covered. We are locally owned and conveniently located on the West Bank. As a fully licensed business, we take pride in delivering quality service you can trust. You can see our exceptional work showcased in the parade of homes. Experience the Bayou difference firsthand. Bayou AV Security, where technology meets reliability. Call us today to experience the Bayou difference.
Thank you for watching the Hash It Out.